Right.
but I will tell you that it requires a lot of training, preparation, and work. When you think of the different subjects that teachers teach in an elementary school day versus the secondary, it's tremendous. So it requires a lot of teaching, coaching, and but I know it's an initiative. I know it's an initiative in Newton. I've talked to the math coordinator, and I know it's a priority. So
you're not hearing this for the first time?
No, I'm not. And I will tell you, I'm not hearing it for the first time in other places I've worked.
All right.
Math, certainly at the elementary level, is something you hear parents talk about.
So is it safe to say that math is specifically an area that Newton needs to work on?
Here's what, from what in terms of talking to people, I will tell you that people are very positive who work in the system at the administrative level about the progress that's being made towards math. And I think one thing that's important as a new superintendent is you have to decide what initiatives really need more work, what aren't done. I put math in the category of a work in progress, Charlie. And so obviously the last thing I'm going to do is come in here and say we've address math differentiation. The other thing I would say is schools in general should be in a model of continual improvement. So just because Newton is doing better in literacy instruction, for example, let's say it is, than it was 5 years ago, or Chappaqua, it doesn't mean we stop, because kids can always do better. Even if they have the best score in a standardized test, instruction can always be better. And that's why I'm pleased that teachers are kind of working in data teams and teams to figure out how to do that, because years ago teachers worked in isolation too much, and I know people are really pleased in Newton how there's more of an effort to work in teams.
Let me shift gears for a second. The dynamic between being the superintendent and working with a highly engaged school committee and parents and teachers and students. I mean, this is a community that values education strongly. It's also a community that is never, ever shy about providing additional input on how things could be improved.
Yes.
How do you see the dynamic, and we only have literally 2 minutes left, so how do you see the dynamic briefly between you as the superintendent and the school committee?
I think, having been a superintendent and worked with the school board in Chappaqua, we had a successful partnership. So I look at it as a partnership, and it has to be built on trust, and it has to be built on candor. It has to be built on transparency, and so I look forward to working with the school committee and a community that's engaged. Earlier I said that Newton's a spirited community, and the one thing that Chappaqua prepared me for, Charlie, was working in a place like this, because certainly people in Chappaqua had lots of opinions about schools, and I've spent my time on soccer fields, and one thing I know is education is a common topic for parents when they're out in soccer fields or pools, so I look forward to those conversations.
Well, I'm going to give you a quick story as we wrap up. Our son goes to American University in Washington, and when we drive to American University, we go over the Tappan Zee and we go down past Chappaqua, and we've made it a point to stop in Chappaqua. And there's a little French restaurant that's right off the road, and so my wife and I, when we were going to pick up our son or bringing him home, we've made several stops, have had the opportunity to speak with people who are residents, locals of Chappaqua. And since we knew that you were coming to Newton, frankly, we just talked to any folks we could think of that were at the restaurant, and I have to tell you, they're very, very unhappy that you've left, which makes me very, very happy that you're here.
Oh, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. They're not afraid to express their opinions either, so I appreciate that.
I think it was a random study.
Oh, that's great.
You know, you mentioned the listening tour, and as we wrap up, I know I'm putting you on the spot, but I'm going to anyway.
Sure.
Would you be willing to come back in, say, 2 or 3 months after you've had a chance to do the additional research that you'd like to, and either do an additional interview here, or maybe even open up the studios and have parents be able to come in and ask you questions in a live studio audience type of thing, maybe for an hour, a special program, or something like that? And I didn't ask you about this before, and I apologize for that, but you seem to be able to handle things very well.
Yes, I mean, the Newton interview process, Charlie, prepared me for anything, and as does handling large meetings in Chappaqua. I'm happy to do that, and I think that'll give me a chance to visit schools and talk more about a few priorities, which, you know, by the first of the year, it's very important to have a few clear priorities and where the system needs to go, and I'm sure I'll have a much better sense by that, and we'll be able to answer your questions in much more specifics. So I think it'd be fun.
So do you think that might be a January type of thing? Or,
absolutely. I think
would that be great?
Start of the year, I'd look forward to it.
Great.
So,
David Fleishman, thank you. Thank you
Thanks.
thank you for coming to Newton. We have very, very high hopes. Please don't disappoint us, because it would just be very depressing. We have there's a lot of excitement in the city, and I appreciate you coming to Newton and coming to Newton Newsmakers. And I thank you for taking your time. If you have more information you'd like about the way to get in touch with the Newton schools, you can go to
newtonk12.ma.us.
.ma.us. There it is on the screen. You can also call 617-559-6000. And Newton Newsmakers will be right back with a closing discussion about the silver alert that you're just going to hear about for the first time next.
The Angels from the Attic are helping Alex's Lemonade Stand Foundation. Let's take a look.
There's lots to do.
We made signs, a stand, and now lemonade.
We're open for business.
Help others.
Get your lemonade.
We sold every drop.
To find out more, please get your parents' permission and visit our website.
And thank you.
Before we go, I'm excited to announce a new program which you'll be hearing more about in the months to come. It's called the Newton Silver Alert System. The Newton Silver Alert is an item that I introduced with the support of many of my aldermanic colleagues, including Alderman Ciccone, Johnson, Hess-Mahan, Sangiolo, Yates, and President Emeritus Lyle Baker. Essentially, the Newton Silver Alert System is a localized Amber Alert, but for seniors who may have Alzheimer's or other types of dementia, and it can also include other folks as well. Under the direction and discretion of specially trained officers of the Newton Police Department, the Silver Alert System uses several technologies, which can include reverse 911 calls to a specific village, email blasts, web postings, photos, and additional information sent instantly to police cruisers, plus an immediate Silver Alert on New TV's local channels just like this one, in an attempt to get the word out fast on any individual who may have wandered away or has gone missing. Mayor Warren and I worked collaboratively on this program, and the resolution passed the Public Safety Committee unanimously, as well as the full Board of Aldermen unanimously. More info is coming soon, and we hope to have it fully implemented by November, which is National Alzheimer's Awareness Month. Once again, Newton is on the forefront of caring for our seniors. A statewide version has been working its way through the State House. The reps are voting, the senators are voting, the governor may very well sign the bill sometime in August. The implementation model we've put together here in Newton has the potential to be used in other communities across the state. So, the Newton Silver Alert, coming soon. It's a community safety partnership, because the faster someone is found, the better chance that they can be returned to their home safely. That's it for this edition of Newton Newsmakers. This program will be repeated throughout the month right here on New TV at various times. It's also available online in its entirety 24/7 at newtonnewsmakers.org. I'm Charlie Shapiro. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time for another edition of Newton Newsmakers.
Newton Newsmakers is made possible through the generous support of First Commons Bank, Beacon Street in Newton Center, representing the future of banking with an inviting environment, the latest banking technologies, and a personal touch to make banking convenient, simple, and sensible. Also at firstcommonsbank.com.